We've got an update on SmackDown returning to 3 hours. There was a shocking title change on Raw last night. And we also had 4 major returns on Raw with huge Survivor Series implications. Stay tuned for all the deets. So we heard recently that SmackDown was going back to 3 big boy hours, which was, no, I mean, more wrestling's nothing to be sniffed at. But at the same time, SmackDown has largely been a svelte, lovely little 2-hour show full of athletic joy.
Yeah.
So the jump to 3 hours, obviously Raw jumping to 3 hours was something that was heavily talked about for a very long time. SmackDown, we saw do this earlier this year as well before it shifted back to 2. But this shift apparently might not be as permanent as most people are thinking right now, with Brian Alvarez reporting that the feeling within WWE is that it's only going to be 3 hours for 6 to 7 months before it shifts back to 2 hours. Now, the reason for this is quite weird because it's going to happen at the beginning of 2026, but apparently it's due to everything on the menu with Braun Strowman's new food show, which currently airs after SmackDown at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's going to be coming to an end then. So there's a feeling within WWE, he says, that this is going to be very similar to what happened this year, which is in 2026, it's going to move to 3 hours. It'll probably be that way for 6 or 7 months, and then it'll go back to 2 hours again for the remainder of the year. He went on to say, right now they've got 2 hours, and the 2 hours is immediately followed by the Braun Strowman show, which is doing frickin' great. He used the word frickin'. Number one, because Braun Strowman is involved, and he's a big name to wrestling fans, and you're just gonna, I mean, you want to watch Braun eat like 58 steaks, don't you?
That's it. I mean, that was always...
Who doesn't want to watch that?
That was always the appeal when he'd go on social media or in interviews and say, like, this is my order that I have for breakfast,
Yeah.
and it's like someone's whole intake of food in 1 year just at breakfast, and it's always like, how does someone even do that?
And then he's peckish like 40 minutes later.
Right?
But yeah, obviously him being a massive name to wrestling fans helps that, and also apparently it's a really good show and goes right after SmackDown, he says. So the Braun Strowman show is beating NXT and Dynamite. That's how well Braun Strowman's show is doing. So he says, I think the Braun Strowman show goes through the end of the year. So when that show ends, I guess they're going to move SmackDown back to 3 hours again, and then they'll find some other show involving a WWE talent that they can then put on maybe halfway through 2026, and the show would go back to 2 hours, and away we go.
Yeah.
So it could be just the next time, the next season of Braun's show, or it could be, as he's like positing here, it could be a means of WWE getting their stars out onto wider sort of platforms. I
think that's it. I mean, it seems if the show is beating, NXT and Dynamite and it's got this great showing, I mean, that's obviously... A lot of the clips, I believe, that are used in that show too are of Braun at WWE. So there's obviously the promotional side of things there as well for WWE. So they're not really going to sniff at having that promotion there.
No,
as well.
not at all. And we're seeing more names get announced for massive film projects. Obviously, Roman Reigns and CM Punk are going to be playing like buddy cops in Zootopia 2.
Come on.
Which, okay. But do you think there's like an internal, like, you're a TV star, you're a movie star, and everybody's like, I can't wait to get my big break. I'm going to be in Street Fighter 2. It's going to be huge. And then they're like, you're going on E! Entertainment Network. And they go, But I think that, it sort of makes sense for them right now if their goal is really to sort of stick it to AEW. And obviously a food show has much more general appeal.
I think that's
which is when
well.
you're looking at these ratings, it's like, oh, it's beating, Dynamite and NXT. A food show has much wider appeal than wrestling does. So you're going to have a lot of people who don't watch wrestling also watching the show, which is, I guess, another thing that they want. But yeah, if it just means that they're going to kind of hold off and half the year is going to be 3 hours, then at least only half the year we've got to work at so many more hours.
Yeah,
it's so many more hours.
I think that's
like a whole day's worth of hours.
I think that the thing with SmackDown going 3 hours was that it felt like it really hindered the show in terms of they really seemed to pad it out as much as they possibly could.
It used to just be like boom, 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 boom.
Exactly.
And it's so you find all that stalling, don't you?
So hopefully, if it's only for a brief period of time, and if they can sort of get into the flow of that and have that already in their mind and sort of like work to make that work as well, because it didn't really work last time. So if they can find a way to do that, and it's only for a little bit, and then another show comes back into the fold, hopefully it's not too bad.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed that, it's not going to be 3 hours forever, because as much as I do love SmackDown, I like it being 2 hours.
Yeah.
But we're going to move over to our main story now, which is sort of like 4 massive stories rolled into one. Because Raw last night was from Madison Square Garden. It was just mental.
Huge.
It was utterly utterly mental. So headed into Raw, we'll start here. Solo Sikoa was slated to go up against one of the mystery opponents in the Last Time Is Now tournament. We obviously saw LA Knight last week go up against a returning Zack Ryder, which was like a huge moment. Solo stood in ring waiting for his opponent, and Lillian was like, and his opponent, and they did that massive hang. It felt like an eternity. And then boom, Dolph Ziggler's music hit, and Wade Barrett starts barking like a dog.
Crazy.
He's like, it's insane. He can't believe that Dolph is there. But Dolph gets a massive response from the crowd. They honestly, the two just had a bit of a spirited back and forth, really. But ultimately, it was Solo picking up the win and advancing in the tournament, which is the right decision. I mean, it's a huge thing to see Ziggler back. I did like, as he was making his entrance, he shouted out TNA.
Yep, he did.
I was like, yeah. So like having Ziggler back just for that moment was huge. But I think that it's not going to be a long-term thing by the looks of it. It's odd that both he and Cardona returned under their WWE names, but at the same time, it is seen as farewell, and it's kind of like blast from the past thing.
The nostalgia stuff, isn't it? But like, and
you get
Ziggler,
the classic music, you get like all of the tie-in with it. Yeah,
Ziggler was just doing exactly the thing that he's incredibly good at, and that's just selling because the sells he was doing for Solo were incredible as well. The way he sold the
greatest salesman of all time.
Exactly, and to make Solo, not that Solo's bad or anything like that, but I mean that's what he felt like. I'm there to do, and I'm going to sell this as much as I possibly can for him.
It made Solo look
it was
like
brilliant.
An absolute powerhouse, didn't it?
It really did.
Yeah.
It really did. It was a really good back and forth between them. Nice to see.
It was just nice to see Ziggler back, wasn't it? It was it was a really nice moment. But the other returns came with the added juiciness of being Survivor Series flavored, and one of them is absolutely. I mean, they're all mental, but one of them's just like wheels within wheels. So the teams for the men's War Games match were set at 4 apiece heading into last night's Raw. The end of last night's show saw the Bronze, Logan Paul, who was formally announced as a member of the Vision, McIntyre and Heyman coming down to the ring. They were met by Punk, the Usos, and Cody. Almost immediately they came out. This, of course, triggered the old the 4-on-4 brawl where it's like, we simply can't coexist. This ring ain't big enough for the 8 of us. Only 4 of us can fit in. But they're going back and forth, and essentially you just have this massive moment where the faces look to have the advantage. Cody stood on the announce table, Punk's in the ring. It's this huge moment, the crowd are cheering, and then all of a sudden, Brock Lesnar's music hit.
Yep, and CM Punk's like, what's going on? And
no.
Brock gets straight in there and just tosses Punk on his head, tosses Cody as well with a German suplex, like lifts him super high. And then we kind of think, okay, this is how the landscape is going to be. Who could possibly even the odds out for the babyface team?
Brock, when he comes down, takes his hat off, puts it down, which I thought was really funny. Just tucks it under the railing so nobody can get it. Might be very
expensive.
It probably is. But it's sort of, you have this moment where Brock stood there laughing. He's kind of looking at Heyman, who is overjoyed, and he's about to leave the ring when there's a load of OTC chants, so you know where this is going. Roman Reigns makes his entrance. He just slowly heads down to the ring. Him and Brock have a bit of a protracted face-off before Roman quickly deals with Brock Lesnar, and then it all just kind of goes crazy. So you've got Bronson Reed getting back in. He tries to tsunami Roman. Roman hits him with a Superman punch. He falls to the outside from the turnbuckle. It turns into a bit of a brawl. Then the NYPD show up. The boys in blue are here. And essentially they're trying to do the pull apart. They're trying to separate everybody, but Roman gets around them. And as there's one cop kind of wrestling with Bronson Reed, he puts Bronson Reed through the timekeeper's area. But he also inadvertently takes out a member of the NYPD.
Oh, no.
I think this might have some sort of storyline roll on here.
No way.
It's assault on a police officer.
Do you reckon?
Imagine.
But what if...
That's what you do in the 90s.
Survivor Series, where's Survivor Series at? Because if it's in a different place, does that mean he gets away with it?
Maybe. Jurisdiction. He's got to run. He's not allowed to wrestle in New York anymore. Maybe we just do this. He gets banned from loads of cities, so he's like, I can only actually work twice a year, guys.
Which then makes the storyline... it makes sense. storyline, right?
So this means that the teams heading into War Games are now Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Drew, and Brocky Boy versus CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, the Usos, and Roman Reigns. So we're getting the 5-on-5. There was a lot of speculation it was just going to be 4-on-4, and it would have already been stacked. Obviously, it's still awkward seeing Brock in the mix, but it's just going to be a monumentally car crash match, isn't it?
It's star-studded, completely up and down that match there. So it's going to be really interesting because I don't know at the moment who I think is going to win that.
No, and I think there's going to be a lot of shenanigans. I think that we're maybe going to come out of this with not what we expected. So it's what you want out of that kind of exciting build to a match like this, though. You want it to be very uncertain, especially with a stipulation like War Games. So it's a lot of can they coexist?
Yeah.
And that's what Survivor Series was all about traditionally.
That's the one.
Even though we're now only getting a traditional 5-on-5 elimination match on SmackDown instead of the actual show itself. But, but the other return, it wasn't just Ziggler, Brock, and Roman. AJ Lee made her return to WWE programming last night for the first time since WrestlePalooza. Becky Lynch was in the middle of a women's IC title defense against Maxine Dupree. She'd just thrown Maxine to the floor after getting in referee Jessica Carr's face, and she's like telling her to count her out. And then behind Jessica Carr's back, she goes to try and start undoing a turnbuckle pad on the corner. Cue AJ Lee's music. She runs down. Well, she skips down to the ring as she does. Becky can't quite believe it. She's staring at her. She's distracted. And then AJ just kind of points behind her. She turns around straight into a crossbody. Maxine rolls her up. Gets the 3 and immediately beels out of the ring. She's just like straight out there celebrating with AJ Lee. Maxine Dupree is your third and brand new women's IC champion. But this isn't all coming out of this situation. A report from Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Radio has revealed that Lee wasn't just there for a one-night comeback either. He said AJ Lee will in fact be on Rhea's team, although that is not yet official. AJ being involved in War Games was teased on Raw as well, with Rhea bumping into her backstage and she was said to her, like, we need to talk. We've already got scheduled for the babyface team, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Alexa Bliss. The heel team is currently Nia Jax, Lash Legend, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. So I don't know if anything more can happen here, but Becky's not going to be a very happy bunny.
Oh, she's not going to be. First and foremost, congratulations to Maxine Dupree.
Massive congratulations to Maxine.
Someone who has just excelled in what she can do in ring in such a short space of time.
Somebody who the crowd were really, really just horrible to for a very long time, and had to put up with a lot of that, and seeing her get this moment is massive. So
put all the work in.
And it's one of those things where like she has evolved and she seems to be getting better each and every time we see her, and she seems to be thinking more about her character presentation and everything when you're listening to her in interviews. Just know where to go but up.
Fingers crossed.
Going.
Hopefully they
it's not like a transitional thing.
Fingers
crossed. It's something good and decent for Maxine here. But we've got Survivor Series emanating from San Diego's Petco Park on Saturday, November 29th. Other matches currently announced for the show include John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio for the IC title, Stephanie Vaquer versus Nikki Bella for the Women's World Championship, and of course the men's and women's War Games matches.
Stacked.
It's going to be a massive show. We're going to be live covering it. We're also going to be doing full gear very soon, so do stay tuned for the channel. We're going to have all of the live rooms ready to go, but we'll keep you updated as and when that happens. We'll be back later on with some more wrestling news when some stuff breaks, but in the meantime, have a lovely day. It's horrible outside and it's freezing cold now. Aww. See you soon.
Aww. Aww.